What do you see as the most common misconception people have about buying web-based businesses?
Well, misconceptions. I don't know if I ever, I mean, I don't know if I talk to people. I'm not usually talking to them unless they're really like interested in the niche. I think it's just, I think people just don't understand how, um, I think they're intimidated through technology. And that's probably the first thing that stops them from really investigating. But really, that's, you don't have to learn everything yourself. Like it depends on your personality, but the more you know, the better. But it's not hard to just, to figure this out. I mean, even the like getting the Amazon has courses. There's people that teach you how to start Amazon businesses that you can, spend $500 or find, free resources, but the best ones you can go on and just, they literally hold your hand through the whole process and teach you how to do this. And the same thing, I mean, and Amazon themselves has, courses or, instructions of how to use their data. Same with Instagram and Facebook. I mean, it's not, I think that the fear of like, oh, this is too much for me. I mean, really the
Okay.
only barrier, but once you get into this, you realize like, wow, I can work at any time during the day. I don't have to drive anywhere. I can come up with a business where I can import it in from another country, or have it, maybe I have it white labeled from a manufacturer here. They can ship it, pack it up, put my labeling on it, and someone else will fulfill it and charge it. And I just have to, I'm not spending 10 hours a day on that. So it doesn't mean that you don't work. It's just that you don't have to be a slave to it. And you
Hmm.
should find, if you're excited, if everyone's got ideas, this is the thing too. Most people have ideas and they, or I don't have an idea. It's like, well, just write down things that interest you, that look around in your own life. And you'll often find things like, well, I wish I had something like that, or I have this idea. And those are often the simple things that you need to accept an idea that will work. And then, it's easy to go and investigate to see what's on the market. You can do searches. You can see what sites come up on, organically. You can see who's bidding on the keywords. You can get into, all the different platforms, Amazon. You can look on social media to see who's relevant and who's making, what products are there. And you can also, I think the other thing is that you can learn from what catches your attention when you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook, or you're on Amazon. Like, what are the things that jump out, and just mimic and map out sort of the same kind of techniques. And the branding is super important, and clarity of, of mission and product. I mean, I think those are things that you can glean by just seeing what other people are doing that get your attention, and you can emulate those things. But there is an education process. Buying a business, the advantage of that is that you're basically acquiring the accumulated knowledge and experience of the seller. And typically there's, anywhere from 3 to 6 months of transitional support that's drafted into the purchase agreement as part of the transition period, where you don't have to learn from scratch and have, fall into any pitfall that's awaiting you. You basically get to buy a business that's already proven, and hopefully the seller is, already made all the mistakes, and or has systems in place that are already proven and working. And you'll learn that. And you'll learn that very rapidly. I mean, most people that take over business are usually, after the first 30 to 60 days, are pretty comfortable and understand and have been trained well. So, again, it's just like the intimidation factor is probably the biggest barrier. But once you get past that and you understand the opportunity, it's a lot less risky than going in and signing a 3-year lease or a 5-year lease and having to hire a bunch of employees and, showing up every day at 8 o'clock to get, I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just, that seems so prehistoric now. And so I think that, this trend is accelerating, will continue to grow. And I think now people are really primed for it, because they've learned to adapt to the situation, and they're realizing that there's a lot of advantages to working at home. You get to, there's more time with the kids. You can pet your animals, and your cat can hang out with you in the background on your Zoom. you know, your dog, you know, so it's fun and everyone's in the same boat. So they're like, what are you doing? Why is your kid interrupting you? And I
Yeah,
think it's,
there's leeway.
yeah.
Or-
And it's just,
yeah.
it's super relaxed. I mean, it's unpretentious. I mean, I talk to CEOs of, you know, publicly traded companies and hedge funds and, you know, just guys that are like uber rich who are just like in their loungewear, like, and, you know, haven't shaved and and no one cares. And it's just real. And I think that's what is people are finding. And that's what the ecosystem offers for anyone. And if, of course, it's in degrees, you should still approach a business with professionalism
Right.
and excellence no matter what. There's no, you know, there's no passive site where you're, or business where you're not going to have to put in the energy and, you know, energy in is creates results. And the idea is if you're going to buy a business, the last thing you're going to do is buy it and expect to pay it off in 3 or 4 years versus accelerating the value and exiting yourself in 3 to 5 years for 10 times what you bought it for. Meanwhile, making a nice dividend along the way.